Well, hello, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm back. I hope you're doing fantastic out there, given the circumstances of the events that unfolded on Saturday this weekend. I come to you with a heavy heart. This is an extremely difficult video for me to do. I didn't want to do it, but I was asked to weigh in to give my thoughts on the events that unfolded on Saturday. I have so many things running through my mind right now. It is very, very hard for me to do this video. Lots of stuff. I've got some handwritten notes that I'm going to be looking down to because there's so much information and I don't want to miss anything. This is a hard video to put out. It's a hard video to talk about. The subject is hard. And the first thing I want to say is I want to send prayers out to the people that were injured, the individual that was deceased as a result of this cowardly shooting. I want to say prayers to the potential president, Donald Trump. Say prayers to everybody that was involved that had to witness this thing and that got scared or traumatized or whatever. So kicking this video off, I'm just going to rip the band-aid off. I'm not going to be delicate about this. I'm just going to rip it off, and I'm going to say that in my opinion everything that we saw happen was all by design. I think that this was an inside job. Starting off with the Secret Service, there's two heads of the Secret Service that I think should resign from their positions. The Chief Operating Officer, Cynthia Radway, the Director, Kimberly Cheadle, probably butchering that name. I know that the Secret Service has a goal by 2030 to have 30% of the Secret Service workforce being females. Now, I'm all for women in the workplace. I'm not a male chauvinist. I believe that women have their roles that are extremely important. But in my humble opinion, I think that if a woman wants a job, she should be able to do that job. And if you can't, you need to be out of that position. These Secret Service positions, not all of them, but there have been some where these positions were filled through channels under Biden. One of the Secret Service women in the video of the events that unfolded, this woman had no clue what was going on. She shouldn't have been there. She was hiding behind the very person that she was hired to protect. And that's just unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. There was a building in which the shooter was on that was not a secured building. It was outside of the perimeter of secured places. This building was between 130 and 150 yards from the podium where President-elect, potential, future President Donald Trump was doing his speech. Why was that building not secure? This building was in direct line of sight to that podium where Trump was speaking. I just don't understand it. The Secret Service resources were cut thin because a lot of the Secret Service resources were diverted over to Jill Biden's Saturday campaign event in Pittsburgh, which took away resources from Trump's rally. There was lots of agents that were assigned to Trump that were temporary agents. They were temporary replacements, which they were just spread thin. Now, half of Trump's Secret Service detail were women. A lot of them were no taller than 5'5". One of them took many attempts just to holster her firearm, which is unfortunate to look at. And out of 4 women, 3 of them didn't even have a clue where they were going, what they were doing. Their hair wasn't up. There was one woman that was right in the middle of the protection of Trump. That woman had it going on, in my opinion. She knew what she was doing. She got right in the thick of it. That woman deserves to keep her job. She's not tall, though. So how are you going to protect a body that's 6 foot whatever inches when you're 5 foot whatever? It's difficult. Your body isn't big enough. But she put herself out there, and I give her credit. The shooter, I'm not going to say this idiot's name. This guy was 20 years old. He had an AR-15. He was from Bethel Park, which was 40 minutes away from Trump's rally. He was a registered Republican. So a lot of people on the left are just going after it, saying this guy was a Republican, you know, he's out there trying to take out Trump. Well, why would a Republican go against their own party like that? In my opinion, this individual was not a true Republican. They were a fake one that was put in a position to fulfill a role and failed at it. The social media was pro-trans, and he made a video where he was clearly anti-Trump. He said, "I hate Trump, I hate the Republican Party," but yet he was a registered Republican. On January 20th of 2021, he donated $15 to Biden. Now, some people are saying that when this individual was seen with a firearm, that we, you know, gun-toting people, why are you surprised by that? This is a state, Pennsylvania, where open carry is allowed. We voted that in, right? True, that's true. We did vote for open carry. It got passed, it's into law. But when you have a potential presidential candidate on a speech, doing a rally, that is not the time to be walking around with a firearm. A progressive turnout project, and that was a Chicago-based political action committee. This is where the money went that he donated, and this was to support Democratic candidates for public office. That's what the $15 was donated to. In fact, this individual voted in the 2022 midterms and did not vote for the Republican side. The shooter, once neutralized and killed, was wearing a popular YouTube channel's t-shirt of Demolition Ranch, which kind of wakes a lot of people up, because it looks like a lot of this stuff was staged to fit a narrative, to make this individual look a certain way. Almost like the January 6th thing that happened, where there was a lot of MAGA hats and, you know, colors and banners and stuff, but those folks were not MAGA. We don't stand for violence. When things happen, we don't burn our cities down, we don't tear things up, we don't go and loot and destroy. That is the left agenda, that's what they do. We don't do that. So I think this costume that the shooter was wearing It just seems fishy to me. The media likes to downplay that this was an assassination attempt against Trump. That's so crazy. How is it that they do not see this as an assassination attempt? If Trump had had his head turned this direction, that bullet would have went right into the side of his head. And we would have been having a much different discussion today. But because he looked in the direction of the shooter, which he was actually looking at that jumbotron or whatever, that screen thing, so when the bullet came, it scraped his ear. So they're downplaying it. CNN said Secret Service rushes Trump off the stage after he falls at a rally. That's what CNN's putting out. CNN analyst said Donald Trump and the people around him perceive themselves to be under a threat. Well, of course we do. They shot at a potential president, a former president. How is that not a threat? How is it that they do not acknowledge that this was an assassination attempt on a potential president that's going to win the election in 2024? I don't get it. The Washington Post put out, Trump escorted away after a loud noise at a rally. The New York Times says Trump was rushed off the stage after chaos at a rally. MSNBC said the Secret Service, Donald Trump is safe after popping sounds were heard at a rally. None of these news media outlets are saying what it is. This was an assassination attempt on a potential presidential candidate. It's crazy. The Secret Service has also put out that there is going to be no increase at the RNC security detail after this attempt on Trump's life. Anything in the soft perimeter is outside of our federal jurisdiction. Wow. How convenient, right? That the Secret Service doesn't want to do their job. So not only do we have the FBI, the courts, we have the House, we have the Secret Service now, the CIA, all these entities that we pay our tax dollars to protect our elected officials that we elect. They're all paid off or whatever. I don't know what it is. If you watch the video where the incident happened and as the bullet's flying, there's a woman in a white shirt with a black hat behind Trump. Watch this woman when you watch that video. It's crazy. She's behind Trump, she's holding a sign, and then she kind of looks to her right, which is the direction of the shooter. Then her sign comes down, she looks right at Trump and pulls her phone up, almost as if she's going to record something. They wanted this assassination to be successful. They wanted to splatter blood all over the stage on live television. And this woman had her phone there ready to document that moment. That's just so crazy. The head of the Secret Service refused to allow the sniper, Jonathan Willis, to take the shot. That sniper, dressed in black, Jonathan Willis, on the rooftop, just to the right of where Trump was looking. The shooter was, like, when Trump was looking in that direction, this other sniper on the Secret Service detail had been watching this shooter for 3 minutes. And I'm going to quote him, Jonathan Willis here. "I didn't follow the orders though. As soon as the shooter opened on Trump, I returned fire, despite strict orders not to engage. After I killed the shooter, I was arrested and questioned by the FBI and just released an hour ago. Already lost my job for failure to follow orders, but I'm glad I took the shot anyway. That dude's a good, solid, patriotic human being. He did the right thing. Now my question is, of the Secret Service that was telling him to stand down, telling him not to engage, who was that was given those orders to tell these Secret Service people to stand down and not engage? And why? I'm guessing the answer to why is because they wanted to take Trump out, obviously. The shooter got approximately 5 to 8 rounds off before being killed. That's crazy. The shooter plays a game on Steam. Steam is an online gaming platform, and the shooter had been playing this game called Mr. President. Mr. President is a game where you go out and you do, what we saw here. He has a history of playing this game, and he left a comment. And his comment said, "This was a great simulation. I hope this will prepare me for the real thing." This shooter kid was basically saying, I'm going to go do this. And nobody batted an eye at it. 115 people acknowledged this comment. It's just crazy. They acknowledged that post. Crazy. On July 8th, 2024, Biden, in a speech, he says, "We're done talking about the debates. It's time to put Trump in a bullseye." Wow. The Secret Service hiring campaign, like I mentioned earlier, their goal by the year 2030 is to have 30% of the Secret Service workforce females. Crazy. Now prayers goes out to Corey and his family, his daughter, Corey Comfort. He was a 50-year-old retired firefighter. In fact, I think he was a fire chief. He was killed as a result of this shooter. Another question that comes to mind is this shooter, his social media platform has been erased, his account. Why? Why did they erase it? Why didn't the FBI get a warrant for his phone records to put his phone activity out there? Why? The FBI is not working for us anymore, folks. They're working for the deep state. It's unfortunate. The left, what have they done? They tried to do a pandemic to scare everybody. It didn't work. They tried to impeach Trump, I don't know how many times. That didn't work. January 6th, they tried to make MAGA look bad by getting all their minions to come over there and dress up like MAGA, and that failed. That didn't work. They tried to censor social media platforms, including YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all these things. That didn't work. They indicted Trump. That didn't work. They had an unconstitutional attempt to remove Donald Trump from the ballot because they didn't want him in there. They put 34 baseless counts, lawsuits against Trump, trying to take him out, trying to put him in prison or whatever. That failed. They also attempted to bankrupt him so they wouldn't have no money to run. It's crazy. They attempted to remove his Secret Service detail from him. He is a former president. They can't do that. That failed. What about Project 2025? What about the Epstein files? Assassination attempt number 1, where he was giving a speech and there was a bang in the room and they ushered him off. Do you guys remember that? And then, of course, this weekend was assassination attempt number 2. In broad daylight. That's not what this should be about. It's not about killing your political opponent. That's not what America's based on. Shots were fired at 6:11 p.m. And in the Bible, you look up Ephesians chapter 6, verse 11. Put on the armor of God so that you may be able to stand firm against the tactics of the devil. All these people that are involved in all this corruption, they're getting rich, they're patting each other's backs, and money is the root of all evil. We're seeing it in broad daylight. They're not hiding anymore. They're coming out and just putting it right out there. Congress even released a statement about solar flares. Not to worry though, NASA officials are saying it's going to be okay if you stay indoors, lock up, starting January 16th. That is tomorrow, Tuesday, until further notice. So they're trying to fearmonger the American people about these solar flare-ups. It's just crazy. Now, think about this. There's 133 million American registered voters. Let's look at the 2020 election. Biden got 81 million votes. Trump got 74 million votes. Wow, interesting. 74 plus 81 is 155 million votes. That's not hard to figure out, folks, that there is something going on here. Why was the shooter allowed on the roof? Why was the officer told to stand down? The shooter took his shots and was killed so that he couldn't talk. Shooter was using a .223, the sniper 300 Winchester. People on social media have been chiming in about this, and it makes my blood boil. They're saying things like, did they miss him? Damn. That was put out by Lisa Newbold. That's crazy. These are evil people that we're dealing with. This is just crazy. And then, of course, you got to think about rules of engagement when you're handling a firearm, right? Let's say, for example, the Secret Service sniper. Rules of engagement. There's a shooter on the roof. The second that this guy aims anywhere near the podium, and he's already on a roof, laying prone with a rifle, that is a threat to a potential presidential candidate. Needs to be taken out immediately to save the life of a potential president. But instead, how many shots were broke before he broke his shot and ended the threat? He was told to stand down. That is just crazy. There was a life in threat. Not only the life of Trump, but a whole bunch of lives were at stake here. That dude was not in his right state of mind. Self-defense would have said green light to take this guy out. The left agenda has failed. They wanted to assassinate Trump. Then they would have probably came out with a speech condoning that kind of behavior. Well, I know we shouldn't be doing that. The guy was a Republican. He had a Demolition Ranch t-shirt on. Just painting this whole narrative for all these minions that want to believe everything that they see on television to continue walking with their eyes closed. Not thinking for themselves. Thinking with what the left wants them to think. It's so unfortunate. Then they would have probably called for unity. You know, we need to come together as a country. Then they would have reinstalled Biden for another 4 more years to continue to dismantle this country and to continue their far left crazy agenda that they want to follow. This shooter had mental illness issues. Now, there was a video on TikTok where I saw And I'm not sure if this was him or not. So disclaimer there, but I believe it was. And this guy was walking around in the public screaming all kinds of obscenities in front of people. This dude is clearly not right in the head. Now, Trump did pick his vice president today, a Marine veteran, J.D. Vance. So that's cool. Putin made a statement. Putin said the U.S. is under deep state control. United States is planning to launch a second pandemic aimed at disrupting the 2024 election. But the left wants to believe that Putin is the bad guy. And they're sending all this money, all our taxpayers' dollars, to Ukraine. And that money is getting laundered right back into the hands of the Biden administration. Why is it that this dude, Biden, has gotten so rich since he's been president? And that's off of your and my backs, off of our hard-earned tax dollars. It's crazy. Now let's talk about the ladder that allowed access to the roof in which that shooter could climb up that ladder and get to that roof. That ladder was planned. It was premeditated. That ladder was put in a place where it was not visible on Google Maps. That's interesting. Quite interesting. Now, if the left wants to call for unite, as a country, for us to come together, I don't know if I'm able to do that. They talk about all this division, but it's them that is creating this division. I don't want to unite with evil. Black and white are not needing to come together. Salt and pepper, they don't mix together. Oil and water doesn't come together. They just separate. And good and evil. We have tried on our end to be good, to be nice, to follow the rule of law, to follow the Constitution. There was a speech a year ago that Biden did where he was attacking MAGA people, saying that we are the enemy to the democracy. We're Americans. This is a republic. This is not a democratic country. They would like it to be. This country was founded off of God. It was founded off of morals. It was founded off of truth, of respect for everybody, and our Constitution. So I have a hard time trying to unite with people that want to do this evil agenda and follow people that are want to follow this. They want to kill babies. They want to do all these things. I just have a hard time wanting to come together with people like that. We are not like-minded people at all. I want to follow God. I want to follow the rule of law. And that's my thoughts on that. It's not that I am here to go against them. I'm not looking for any conflict or war or anything like that. That is not our side. That is not what we do here on the right. We don't burn down cities when we don't get our way. We watched our potential president that we want to see in office. We watched him take a bullet to the ear in an assassination attempt. Has there been any cities burned down? Any looting? Any violence of any part? No, there has not. The only violence that we are seeing is violence that is planted from the left. So folks, moving forward, I want to continue to pray. I want to continue to stay vigilant. Stay frosty, folks. Stay prepared. Keep your eyes open. Think for yourself. Look at everything and have some common sense. I pray for everybody that was involved. I pray for Trump. I pray for Corey and his family. Jonathan Willis, the sniper. Pray for him and his safety. They already let him go from his job for doing what his job was, and that is protecting the president. I don't get that. So with all that being said, folks, again, thank you so much for watching. I love each and every one of you. Please leave comments down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. If I see any negativity in the comment section down below, I will not hesitate pulling your comment. We're going to have peace down below in my comment section. Thanks for watching. I love you all. We'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.